Hi guys, this is Erica Weston with Fox Sports Midwest, and you're listening to my favorite St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio.
Happy New Year from our sponsor, Manscaped. Manscaped is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming, offering precision-engineered tools for your family jewels, and is here to help you have clean balls in the new year. Ring in the new year with the right tools for the job. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code LGB at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. And use the code LGB. New year, new balls. Remember last week when I said Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year, let's get the hell out of 2020? Well, we're out of 2020, but apparently other things have to happen before things calm down a bit. So let's revisit this conversation later this month, shall we?
You're that upset about Mike Hoffman signing with the Blues.
I am.
God.
Welcome to Season 9, Episode 17 of Let's Go Blues Radio. We're the often imitated but never duplicated. We're the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you by Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with promo code LGB. Your balls will thank you. We're broadcasting live on Wednesday, January 6, 2021. This is franchise episode number 283 all time. Your hosts tonight are yours truly, Curt Price, Bill Day, and Jeff Ponder. And for your listening pleasure, for the next little while, we'll be talking St. Louis Blues hockey. To interact with the show on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, our information is on the website, letsgoblues.com. We are dual live streaming right now on YouTube and Facebook, so thank you for joining us. If you haven't already subscribed to the show, please do. We appreciate it. And like I said, the website is letsgoblues.com, where you can listen to or watch past episodes of the show, browse the fan discussion forum, as well as get some cool St. Louis Blues themed t-shirts and stickers that help support the show. Hi, guys. What a last couple days, huh? A lot of stuff going on everywhere, hockey world included. So we have some stuff to talk about.
We do?
Yeah.
We do. I mean, if you don't think we do, I mean, Bill and I can just take it if you want to just like hang out.
Yeah, I'll just drink beer and hang out. You guys talk about whatever the hell's going on. I have no idea.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Do what I usually do. Just listen. It's a great life skill, except when podcasting.
Yeah. Especially when you're a host.
So, yeah. Hey, you guys may have to remind me of that sometimes.
I got a late Christmas present for myself, and I thought I'd share on the show. I loved those Kings jerseys so much, the retro reverse jersey.
How much did you love them?
I actually ordered one.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. I don't like any current Kings. I'm sure Blues fans won't like this, so I wanted to get a name on it because I thought, why not? And it's going to piss me off. He'll probably get traded right before the season started. I did go ahead and just get Quick on the back.
Yeah.
Well, Bill has the Steen jersey. You've got the Quick jersey. Oh, you will have.
There you go.
And you guys can reenact the double overtime.
I've got my Milek pads in the garage, Bill. We could do that sometime.
Milek pads.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Are they the white ones? The white with the foam in the back?
Like the dark, they're dark black with green foam.
Okay, I was going to ask if they were the. I was thinking, Milek had the rectangular ones. My brother had and my cousin Jeff had the Cooper air-filled, almost
right
ice hockey looking pads.
Right, they were semi-authentic looking.
Yes,
but they were still. I mean, they were great for the purposes that they plastic. They slid well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the Milek ones were too boxy.
I remember when we went to Johnny Mac's in South County a long time ago, and my brother was looking at buying some street hockey pads, and we went there with the intention of probably buying some Milek ones, and then we saw the Cooper ones, and I was like, dude, these are more money, but these are better. These are so much better. And he goes, you're right, and we used them forever. They're great for street. And the puck shot off those things when he made a save. It had like a spring action to it, kind of like because of airfield. That was pretty cool. The rebounds were never laying in the crease, really. Pad saves.
If Johnny Max would like to retroactively sponsor Let's Go Blues Radio, contact us at radio.com.
So last couple of days, the Georgia Senate election happened with the two senators in Georgia. Team USA and Team Canada played in the gold medal game of the World Juniors, which was a fantastic game. We'll talk about in a little bit. And of course today the protest in the Capitol when Congress was in session with dealing with the electoral votes, confirming those. Just a crazy, huge news. I mean, as far as maybe a lot of the world doesn't think the World Juniors is huge news, but hockey fans do, and so hockey fans had that to deal with two other huge news, and it's a huge news day today.
Can you guys remember the last time that you were this proud yet this disgusted to be an American citizen?
Oh man,
that's how I feel. I literally was like on cloud nine. I mean, I'll admit, I said this, and we'll talk about the game in a bit, but I watched the Georgia elections last night. I kind of just paid attention to the U.S. game, and I did watch it later today, or on a replay today, so I did see it. But when they won, I was on cloud nine. Oh my God, they beat Canada. I can't wait to watch this game tomorrow. It's going to be unbelievable. And then everything today happened, and it was just, for about 13 hours, I was really proud to be an American.
I mean, yeah. I mean, to me, it's just kind of embarrassing. Taking a knee was unacceptable to these people, I'm assuming. I'm going to speak for them, the ones that, occupy the Capitol. Taking a knee was unacceptable during the anthem, but this is okay. I'm watching on clips on TV now too. And that's what gets me with this stuff. It's just the horrible hypocrisy and idiocy, ignorance surrounding it all. Ignorance is driving all of this, and it's ridiculous. I mean, educate yourselves and quit believing memes and BS and do real research. I don't know if you're that into it. Don't go by what people say. Go by real research, not hunches, not gut feelings, not what you want to believe, because what you want to believe quite often is probably not true. So just because you want to believe it and it fits your narrative, don't, because this is the kind of shit that happens when a lot of people believe that kind of stuff. So anyway,
we should probably get to some hockey talk. Bill, we said our piece. Bill, feel free to say something, but after that, I vote we wrap it up, because people are here to probably escape what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah, no. My one piece I'll say about the events of today is, Curt said protest, potato insurrection,
right? Coup.
Pick your word. But no, I'll save my comments about the World Junior game until we actually get into it. My experience last evening before the events of today. So,
official beers of episode number 283. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. My handle is at CPrice12. Jeff's is JPonder94. Bill's is Billy Blue Note 33. Jeff, Bill, what you guys got?
Jeff, you go first this week.
Ooh, change the order. I like it.
Well,
it's
actually,
anarchy.
oh, good Lord. There's the theme of the show right there. We actually have a comment that I want to read to start here, because it involves beer of the episode. Cameron Smith, who joined us last week. I hope you and your wife or fiance, I can't remember if it was wife or fiance, are doing well. He was the one that told about the
girlfriend?
The cancer. Yeah, she was the one that, Anyway, hey guys, good to hear from you again. Wore my Blues jersey and got some crazy looks and a few cheers up here in Minnesota, drinking a Dogfish Head Super 8 Super Goose this evening, which was developed in conjunction with Eastman Kodak to be used to develop black and white photo film. So that's Interesting stuff.
Wait, there was a beer that was developed to help with film?
Developed in conjunction with Eastman Kodak to be used to develop black and white photo film.
Huh.
Interesting.
I would like to hear a backstory on that.
Yeah. You gotta link there.
That sounds. I mean, did they like use beer to help develop the film? That's kind of cool. I don't know. I guess you cook with beer. You can. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe it develops film too.
It's a chemical process.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
I'll buy it.
Drink it. Sure. You could drink Kodak. I'm sure. I don't know how it works. So my beer of the episode is the. Well, let me actually grab the bottle first. One I've had many times, the Old Arena Lager.
Nice.
Now in bottles, by the way. You can get them at Friar Tuck and, of course, over at Center Ice Brewery in Midtown. But I also want to point out that I did receive this beautiful glass when I went in for Nash Year's Eve, which was their New Year's beer that they released. Oh, look at that! Kurt's got one.
We're Twinkies.
We are Twinkies.
Because
I love it.
The kind that come 2 in a pack, not the single ones.
But yeah, these are that. But anyway, and that was a great beer, by the way. I had actually never had their Nash Year's Eve before. Have you guys?
No, it's a champagne-based beer, right?
It's a champagne-based beer, and it was really good. They literally brewed it and pulled it out of the barrel that morning, and oh man, it was phenomenal. So good. So if you haven't had the Nash Year's Eve, they got barrels of it there now. Go over to Center Ice and pick yourself up a growler or have one inside, which I think they have like 25% capacity, whatever it is in downtown St. Louis.
Okay. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I was sad that I couldn't get over there and get any from Center Ice on New Year's Eve. Unfortunately, work went really crazy, so didn't have a chance. But I have had Nash Year's Eve when they've had it on tap in previous years. Back when I used to go there after work and hang out, when I still had colleagues who liked to do that kind of thing. But no, it was good. Sad I missed you. Hopefully soon enough we'll be able to get over there. But my beer of tonight's episode is Old Chub Scotch Ale by Oscar Blues. My goal nowadays is to make Curt question the names of my beers.
Yeah,
and we've already had a Dogfish Head reference
Jim.
on the show tonight.
I can't drink Dogfish Head beer. It just sounds gross.
Yeah.
Old Chub. That sounds gross too. I'm sure it's good though.
I'm strangely aroused right now. I don't know why.
Julie's brother used to be a server at still a server at St. Louis area restaurants, but at one in particular, they had Old Chub on tap, and he would push the beer and ask, "You want a little Old Chub in you?"
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
I already like that guy. Put him on the show.
Yeah,
Sounds
changes jobs frequently. So just
is it because of what he says? I don't know. Maybe.
Probably.
Is it offensive? Nice.
Slightly offensive, but yes, it's an Oscar Blues Scotch Ale. I feel conflicted because I am drinking out of the Founders mug, the Milk Jug Founders mug, and Founders Dirty Bastards, one of my all-time favorite beers and a great Scotch Ale. But Old Chub is surprisingly good.
Doing it for you.
Doing it for me.
Goes down easy.
I think Old Chub was my dad's nickname in college.
Yeah. All right then. So mine is not nearly as funny or as interesting, but I did have the Center Ice Brewery glass that I'm quite proud of that I got for Christmas. Amy got that for me. But I was gonna go. I was gonna do like a themed beer, but I didn't have any Comrade Stout from Recess Brewery in Edwardsville, so I didn't go that route. But I have I do have this, which the O'Fallon Dad's cookie oatmeal original oatmeal stout from Dad's original oatmeal stout from O'Fallon Brewery in Missouri. Part of the cookie pack that they put out. I'll clarify. This particular beer, this specific one, did not come from the pack. I don't have that, but they do offer it in a pack of cookie-like beers. I think it's cookie beers, right? That they put out, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of not unlike what Four Hands did with their Girl Scout cookie offerings. So it's good. I like it.
I did. By the way, I did get some more Bourbon County tonight.
$10 a schnook. Is that where you got it?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
I got some more Chinooks. I wanted to have it for the show, but it wasn't chilled enough yet. So I just literally bought it tonight. So next week.
Yeah. Total Wine and Fairview had actually had the Earl Grey variant on sale. Well, not on sale, but on offer still tonight. So anybody's looking for that. I haven't tried that yet. I'll probably try it this weekend. If it's any good, I'll probably go pick that up.
I had it.
It is. They still had a bunch of them.
It was good. It was good. I think some of the beer aficionado or snobs groups that they didn't like it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I had a flight, all different kinds at Global Brew the day after Black Friday. I think it was when Amy and I went there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I had the number 4, had the Earl Grey, and the few others. So it was a good time.
Yeah,
number 4 was my favorite. What was that? Number 4 is the what's it called?
Coffee. It's it was special number 4.
Yeah.
Had it was the this year's coffee variant, coffee and maple.
Yeah. It was good. Yeah. I like you had it. I saw you had it.
It's my favorite variant that I've had in a few years. Actually,
I know you had it. I know you had it because I follow you on Untapped.
And that is a wise move because I have been using it very frequently.
I've noticed. Lately. Yeah, I have not.
And Bill, I actually follow you in real life, so
literally he's outside your house right now.
Yeah. Not right now. I mean, come on, Kurt, you crazy? I'm in my studio. I'm in Ponder Studio.
Your portable studio.
But earlier tonight, yes, I was sitting right outside that window there in Bill's background.
Yeah, and we have video footage of that.
That's why JP plumbing van is stuck outside my house.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Today in Blues history, courtesy of the @STL Blues History Twitter account, January 6th, 2015. David Backes became the second St. Louis Blues player to have multiple 4-goal games, and Brian Elliott recorded a shutout in the Blues' 5-0 win over the Arizona Coyotes.
I do not remember this game, but it's funny because I remember David Backes' first 4-goal game
against Detroit, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was that huge blowout.
Oh yeah, the 11-1,
10-3, 11-2, or whatever it was.
Something crazy. Yeah. Yeah, the Brian Elliott shutout doesn't happen. It doesn't ring any bells just because he had so many of them. How are you gonna?
He did.
Franchise leader in shutouts. January 6, 1994, Curtis Joseph became the second goalie to win 100 games for the St. Louis Blues in a 2-1 win versus the Hartford Whalers. Game was played at a neutral site in Cleveland as part of the NHL's Breakaway Series, which I do not recall the Breakaway Series at all. That was my favorite era in Blues hockey, too. I just talked about that the other day. And I don't recall the Breakaway Series. Odd.
First goalie to 100 wins. Bill, who is it?
Liu.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I was gonna say Pat Jablonski, but okay.
Did he even get like 10 wins?
Probably not.
I don't think he even got 10 wins.
He was subject of yesterday's Today in Blues history. He was called up for a game against Dinamo Riga.
Yes, I saw that.
In '89.
Yeah,
and
shut him out.
That was interesting.
Played well, shut him out.
But,
I have that, I believe, on my YouTube channel if I would like to watch that game.
Yeah, we'll have to go check it out.
The Blues, he was 5-12-3 in the regular season.
Okay. So
he lost 5 wins.
He lost 10 games.
Because of the great Blues history of goaltending, he's actually number 4 all time in Blues goaltending wins. That's not true.
But the at SDL Blues history Twitter account has the lineups for an image of the lineups posted on his Twitter account for this date in Blues history. So it's fun to go look back and see the names. You got Hrivnak, Jim Hrivnak in goal, Curtis Joseph, Rick Zombo, Bart Butcher, Housley, Jim Montgomery, who coaches the Blues now, assistant coach, Karamnov, one of the Russians, Kevin Miller, former number 12 at one point, I believe, Craig Gianni, Brett Hall, Basil McCrae, Shanahan, Tom Tilley, Jeff Brown, Ron Sutter, Prokhorov, another one of the Russians that failed here, Bobby Basson, Doug Crossman, Murray Barron, Bozan, Korolev, the best of the 3 Russians, Chase, Lafayette, and Hedekin. It's a good roster.
Yeah. And looking at the I think we're going to go to the same place here.
Go on, Bill. Go ahead.
Yeah, so going over to the Whalers side of the ledger, there's a certain number 44 down at the bottom of that list.
Yep.
Yeah, there is.
Before a DWI, I guess.
He fell out of favor in Hartford.
Yeah. But other names on this list, Frank Peter Angelo,
Mm-hmm.
who is the uncle of
Alex Pietrangelo.
Uncle of Alex Pietrangelo, but they pronounce it totally different.
Right. For reasons they have their own of. So Zarya Zalapski is on the Whalers roster. The best.
That was the name I was going to bring up. Was Zarya. Him and Antti Alto are probably my favorite names of all time, because Antti Alto, who, by the way, Alto is spelled with 2 A's, he will always be at the top of the NHL player list of all time. And Zarya Zalapski will
be the
always
bottom. I actually used Zarya Zalapski's name in a work presentation. I had to put together a work video presentation, and part of the presentation was a letter that was crafted to IT, and I signed it Zarya Zalapski. It was a fictional thing, but yeah. So it was, and there were a few hockey fans in the room, and they got a chuckle when they saw that. So that was kind of cool.
My mom was not a hockey fan growing up. She always said my dad, my brother, and I always drove it into the ground. So she was not a fan. So one day she was waking me up for school, and I told her I didn't want to go, and she was like, "Well, why not?" I'm like, "Mom, I think I've come down with something. I think I've got Darius Kasperitis." Like, oh no, that sounds awful. I probably told this on the show before. So she called my dad at work and told him, and she's like, I know she probably butchered his name, but he goes, "I'm pretty sure that's a Penguins defenseman." Send him.
My grade school, when I moved to Smithton, I moved there when I was in 6th grade, and the kindergarten teacher, our 1st grade teacher, one of them, her last name was Andriitis, so that was always a disease joke, right? So the good stuff at SJ Blues History. So check that out. January 6th, 1972. Today is the anniversary of the brawl in Philly, where the Blues players went into the stands and fought the Philly fans. The Blues were trailing 2-0. They were upset with the officiating, and head coach Al Arbour at the end of the second period went on the ice to confront the officials at the Zamboni entrance. Flyers fan proceeded to then dump a beer on Al Arbour's head, which infuriated the Plager brothers, and Bobby and Barkley went into the stands to go after the guy who did it, and the Blues the game was delayed for 45 minutes, and Blues came out and scored 3 goals in the third period to beat Philadelphia 3-2. After that game, the Blues failed to win in Philadelphia and we talked about this last week, which is kind of funny. How we didn't know exactly how long the streak was. Well, it says right here, that was the Blues. After that game, the Blues did not win in Philadelphia for a span of 34 games. So from 72 to 88. They didn't win in Philadelphia. 34 games. Al Arbour, John Arbour, Phil Ribeiro, and Floyd Thompson were arrested and spent the night in jail and released the following morning after the charges were dropped. That game is the reason Philadelphia installed canopies to cover players going to and from the ice. And that game also is part of the reason why the Flyers drafted and acquired players to get tougher and bigger and stronger, and eventually become the Broad Street Bullies because they got bullied and pushed around by the Blues. So that's it's interesting how that worked out. But how the Blues kind of caused the Broad Street Bullies to happen in a way. So here and
the year after they drafted Reg Dunlop with their first pick.
Right? I think so. I think you're right. They brought their toys too, didn't they, when they drafted?
Brought their fucking
Brought
toys.
their fucking toys. And he also included at STL Blues History included the Philadelphia version, a description of the brawl. It was some bias there. It's a video with a really young Mike Emmerich. Do you guys see this? It's cool. Really young Mike Emmerich doing in-studio commentary at the time. And Flyers broadcaster Gene Hart, they talked about the brawl, and they kind of talked, and there was some bias there, being Philly people, but it was, check it out at STL Blues History, and you can see the video of it. It's good stuff.
Something I wanted to add, just in terms of video, and not to, if you guys want to keep talking about that, I apologize, but just want to add, STL Blues History had another really good tweet yesterday, January 5th. The John Candy and John Hughes interview.
Oh, that was.
I thought.
God, that was brilliant.
He posted. Here's a text he put with the video. John Candy and director John Hughes interviewed in between periods during a Blues game while they were in St. Louis filming for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Both Johns passed away way too early. So yeah, it's an interview during a Blues intermission with John Candy and John Hughes. And my favorite part was they asked John Candy. He's Canadian, big hockey fan. And they asked him, so, how come you haven't done a hockey movie yet? And his response was, he was just beat out by Rob Lowe for Youngblood. He wanted to be Youngblood.
He said he trained 6 months for it and everything. And they kind of ripped on the movie too, because they were like, right. you probably could have saved that movie. And he was like, I don't know about that. It's pretty bad. It was a bad movie, but as far as if you're a hockey player, it's just kind of one of those movies. It's like, yeah, you like it, just because there weren't many hockey movies back then. There's still not. So I mean,
well, I think it's really funny too, because John Candy is clearly dressed like Del Griffith from Planes, Trains, and All. He's got the mustache. Because like I said, they were filming the scenes in St. Louis, so it was really funny to see him dressed as Del Griffith and being at a Blues game. It was really cool.
And the scenes that were in the movie were filmed at Lambert. I think that's the only part of the movie that was in St. Louis. Great scene with Steve Martin walking back to the terminal after he goes to drop off to pick up
off your fucking face.
So good.
You have it? No. Well, fucked.
Such a good scene. If you haven't seen Planes, Trains,
right?
What?
That was the great Edie McClurg, who was
Mrs.
also
Poole.
Mrs. Poole,
yeah,
and the secretary from Ferris Bueller.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, if you haven't seen that movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, my God, it's a classic holiday movie based around, is it Thanksgiving or Christmas? Thanksgiving? Yeah, he's trying to get home for Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Over Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's something my wife and I, every Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we sit down and watch it every year. It's just so much fun. I love it.
Same thing. I watch it every year too. And this year we watched it while we were making Thanksgiving dinner for my kids. Amy was over and we're kind of just cooking a turkey and just cooking and just had the TV on in the kitchen and watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It was a good time. Good movie.
Actually, I have a pretty active chat here in Facebook, more so than YouTube, which is odd. Yeah. It's not the case. So when the show's over, guys, Cameron Smith did send a link to a YouTube video that's explaining that Super 8, the beer that's filmed with the Kodak film that we talked about earlier.
Okay. Yeah.
Video about it. So he put the link in there. So check that out after the show. And then also, Mary Ponder says, "Hi, Jeff. Hello, Mom." Mother, stop using the F word so much.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Kind of a takeoff from UHF. It's the opposite. It's Father's Day, but whatever. It's a stretch. YouTube chat. There's a little bit of conversation going on in there. Bill Day with a strong Cosby sweater going on. Not really. It's a sweater. Cosby sweater.
It's a sweater.
Cosby sweater is allowed.
Right. It's a sweater. I wore it tonight to prove that I'm not doing this in front of a green screen. Because I know that's what you all think.
Because she would disappear. Yeah.
Right.
Just be a talking head.
No, you know what that sweater reminds me of? It reminds me of the Good Boy sweater that everybody talks about from Rise of Skywalker that Kylo Ren wears at the end. That reminds me of the Good Boy sweater. If you've seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I didn't put that connection together.
Jimmy Anderson also says John Candy and Hughes are legends, some of the most iconic ever. Agreed. R.I.P. Home Alone, National Lampoon's Vacation, including Christmas, Ferris Bueller's, good stuff. Bueller, aka Kiss Me Polka, the Kenosha Kickers. It is so good, so good.
Yeah, I've been on a John Hughes kick lately. I've been listening to the audiobook of Ready Player 2, and like one of the, I don't know if you're familiar with the franchise, but there some really great video game ideas centered around the John Hughes universe of films, and so I've been watching more and more. Every one of them is great and absolutely correct. Everybody that's pointed out that both John Candy and John Hughes died way too early.
Brad Warthog says, Curt, when you gonna grow out the stash like the rest of the gang? Probably because I just can't grow one. And
he's been trying for the last 12 years.
Yeah, I haven't shaved in 6 months, so this is what you get. I'm not a hairy guy. So Manscaped takes care of what it needs to take care of, and that's all I need. So, and Jimmy Anderson says he's been trying since we started Kung Flu fighting. That's right. No. Anyway, rapid fire hockey tidbits. Team USA wins gold and defeats heavily favored Team Canada 2-0 to win the World Junior Championship. Can anything more be said about Team USA goalie Spencer Knight? Drafted 2019 13th overall by the Florida Panthers. He was amazing. And what I thought was great about him in this game, what I noticed, is that he was tracking the puck extremely well. Just seemed to be just on it. It didn't have to make any like flailing, huge, crazy saves. He was just like sliding, tracking on it. They hit the post once, and another one was a redirect, kind of a deflected off of a shin in front and just grazed off the outside of the bottom of the net. He was on it. He was just good. He was a huge reason why USA won, and that's not to discredit this to the team. I think USA outplayed Canada.
They did,
start to finish. They outplayed them handily, I thought.
And I want to get Bill's take on Spencer Knight, because obviously he knows more than Curt and I do about goaltending. But I just want to add to Curt's comment about Spencer Knight. What I noticed in watching that game was he never seemed rattled. And I know that this is kind of a big comparison, but when you think about it, for junior players, this is their Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. And it reminded me of Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final by Jordan Binnington. He just never seemed to let the pressure get the best of him. And that was what happened with Spencer Knight. He was on his game all night, no matter how bad the pressure got. Even when the Team USA went up 2-0, which we all know is the worst lead in hockey, it never fazed him. He never went off his game. He was still covering the puck, still tracking every angle. Just everything about that performance last night is what you want to see in a goalie you drafted 13th overall. So I'm sure these 7 Florida Panthers fans are very excited about the Spencer Knight. Sorry, Panthers fans.
Is what it is. Speak the truth.
No, my take on Spencer Knight was, very similar to your guys. I thought he was positionally perfect. There were a couple of opportunities that you knew there was no way that he saw the shot come in, but it hit him. Thinking of one in the third period when Canada had just applied pressure, really starting to build their pressure. And there's a shot from the point and completely his eyes were taken away from him, and it just hit him on the lower right part of his right pad, and went back out into the slot, and U.S. got a clear. A couple of other plays like that where he was just in the right place, and he wasn't, he was calm. Like Curt said, he tracked the puck when he had eyes. He tracked the puck, and he very efficient in his movement, was never out of place, and he didn't try to really stretch into soft points of his game. He never got to the point where he was trying to overplay the puck, and he would just knock it to the corner and let his boys go get it. And that I was very impressed, especially after he had quite a terrible game against, what was Finland, wasn't it?
Yeah,
just not the best game. And he bounced back, and that we talked about it before the show, that the comparison to Bennington, and he had a bad outing, and he bounced back, and he was definitely the difference in this game. But I will say, overall, I think Team USA was the first team that actually made Canada, up their pace. And it took Canada half the game to get there.
100%. I thought that USA really pushed the pace of that game, especially after they got that first goal. They just started dominating play. They moved the puck quicker than Canada was. And I'm going to mow Curt's lawn here. He has a point that I know he wanted to make about Canada was supposed to win this game. I mean, it was so many of the U.S. players, like I think the top 3 U.S. centers that were eligible for this game are on NHL rosters. So they were playing without what was supposed to be many of their best players. And they went in there and they won this game 2-0. And again, it wasn't just because of Spencer Knight's performance. They pushed the pace in this game, and they wanted to win. And I'm not saying Canada didn't. Canada, had a great tournament. But U.S. they were dominant in this game. I think they were just hungrier, and they pushed the pace more than I've seen a team do in a gold medal game in the World Juniors.
This was supposed to be the best Team Canada, World Junior Team Canada team since 2009. People are saying. So it was. I mean, they were the shit, and they were dominating. They had a lot of 5-on-5 goal all tournament up until the first Team USA goal in the final. So Team USA played well. They deserved to win. Nobody's saying it wasn't a situation where Knight stole the game and Canada dominated, and he had a crazy amount of saves, and USA scored 2 goals on 12 shots or something stupid like that. No, it was the Team USA played well. They won the game. They earned the game. They deserved to win the game. And like you guys said, the tempo was something that Team Canada wasn't used to in the tournament so far. And it took them a long time to adjust. And I don't even think they ever really did, to be honest. I mean, Team USA had the edge in every period. So that was a fun game to watch. Had a lot of stuff going on last night. Had the election on in the background on the TV, and had the hockey game on my computer. So I tried out the Fubo free trial. Bill and I did. So that was that was good. It was really good quality, easy to use. It was I liked it. I'm not going to pay for it because it's expensive.
Right. It's it's ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
I've been using YouTube TV, and I'm completely frustrated with the quality of sports streaming. To the point that now anytime, like, if I'm going to watch a Premier League game, I go to the NBC Sports app to put it on because the quality coming through YouTube's awful. Fubo, the one thing about them is they actually do 4K sports streaming. If you have the right app and the right streaming device, or if your TV, has a built-in Fubo app, it'd be amazing. But, for me, price point's a little much.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm probably going to be switching back to Spectrum, but just do streaming with them instead of having to buy all the equipment. So I can watch Blues games because it's not going to be available anywhere anywhere else.
Do you get DVR with the streaming? I don't, because I have the Spectrum app, right, that comes with my service. Do they offer a separate? Is it okay? So the streaming with Spectrum that you would get, I haven't researched it. If you just buy the streaming, is it different than the streaming that I get? Because I have their hardware too. I have the signal.
I don't know. I haven't done enough research into it. Okay. But
because if it's the same, I can tell you that I use it. You've seen the TV in my kitchen. I use it there. I use it in my office here. You've seen this one. And I'll use it on the big TV in the family room down the hall too, because the Wi-Fi receiver on the TV went out a couple of years ago, and I bought a nice Roku for it, so I use the Spectrum app to watch TV there. So that's.
You also watch it on your in your study and in your library.
I do have a TV above my bathtub too, or not above it, but on the wall in front of it. So I got a TV in every room in the house. TVs, I think I do. Do I? I do.
I do not, but I do have 3 in my basement, which is kind of crazy.
Okay, I have 3 as well. I have the main one, office, and the kids have one in the toy room down the hall.
I got one over here for gaming. I got one right the other side of my camera for watching the World Juniors like I did today, just for watching when I'm working, and then I got one in my workout room too. So yes, I can kind of relate. I do have 3 in my basement.
Schrodinger's COVID on Twitter, Bill, says Old Chubb is good shit. Nitro or CO2?
Mine's can. It's straight can. Yeah. Okay. That's Chris from formerly of Teal Town.
Oh, see, I didn't look at the handle. I'll be damned. It is. There you go.
What's up, Chris?
I think I knew that. Now that you say that, I think I knew that. What up, Chris? Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Fellow beer aficionado, Chris.
Yes, he is.
So
miss that guy. He's a good dude. He's my favorite Teal Town guy. I hate everybody else there.
Here's my least favorite. So I guess that evens out now.
Well, there you go. It evens out. He's Bill's even favorite then?
Right. Bill just liked him just the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
For variety.
I mean, it's hard not to like Eric, given that he's a Wheel of Fortune alum. So
a Wheel of Fortune alum.
Yeah, he's been on Wheel of Fortune.
How did I not know that? He's been on Wheel of Fortune.
Know.
Has that been talked about on the show?
He's tweeted about it.
Okay, he's been on Wheel of Fortune.
He replaced Vanna White for an episode. You don't remember hearing about that?
Oh yeah, that's right.
With a really dress, and
he wasn't.
It was
wasn't quite sexy enough to turn the letters the way that Vanna does. Huh? I'll have to ask him about that because I'd be curious to see how that went. I don't know. NHL TV price has been set. It's $100 for the shortened season. 10% off if you use a Discover card, or 25% off with a student discount. So, I mean, people are complaining about not being able to see Blues games because Fox Sports Midwest is not on a lot of providers, streaming providers, and not on Dish Network. So I think the only options are Spectrum, AT&T. That's it, right?
Right.
So,
Clyde's satellite service, I think, has it too. But
Clyde's satellite service?
I don't know. There were some really weird,
there was
no-name places
there was
that were apparently available in our area.
Some guy out of Highland got a contract. To me, honestly, NHL.tv plus a VPN is the way to go. You can watch every single game if you want. If it's for Blues hockey, don't switch providers. Don't change to. I mean, you can if you want, but if you're just doing it for hockey, I mean, maybe go NHL TV and a VPN. That's a.
I will say for anybody who remembers the old, what was the old one called before they switched it to NHL TV? It was called NHL
Center Ice.
Was it Center Ice or was that I thought Center Ice was the one
through. Yeah, that was through satellite package.
Direct TV, yeah.
Game Center.
Game Center. Right. Game Center, right.
Yeah. So NHL Game Center was awful. I mean, it would just stop streaming halfway through. It'd have to rebuffer. Since the MLB, was it the MLB media?
The merger.
Right.
Whatever
the same,
called.
Same tech, yeah.
They switched to them. It has been so much better. So if you haven't checked out NHL TV and you can afford it, and hey, you know what? Student discount. You got a kid? There you go. You got your student discount.
Put that kid to good use. $75.
I was gonna say. I mean, I put my son to use as much as I can. Oh, you offer a student discount? Well, here's my son's schedule. Yeah, take advantage of that.
Some people are going to switch providers just to get hockey games. Some are, not a ton, I wouldn't imagine, but some are. And I mean, this is an option. So I mean, and like I said, you can't watch local games in St. Louis. I mean, that's what the VPN's for. So it provides anonymity online, so it can't be tracked. And that's not illegal. VPNs aren't illegal. They're perfectly legal. I'm not sure if using a VPN in that way is the most legal method, but it is what it is.
Probably not, but whatever.
I mean, but whatever. Or use someone else's credit card information halfway across the country if you know somebody. That doesn't work. It's IP address.
Oh, right? I would be careful saying that. Good Lord.
It's no. I mean, someone that's okay with it. And I'm not saying steal some information. Good Lord. I'm saying like a relative that lives like in California, but I don't think it works that way anyway. I think it's based on your connection IP address.
Yes, it gets connected to your connection. Yeah.
The problem I ran into the one time I tried that was that I don't know, maybe I was too honest in the sign up process, but they make you give your street address. Yeah. And
you know what? Oh, really?
During require location services. Yeah, I couldn't get it to work.
See, I did last year. I mean, I have Spectrum. I don't have to use it, but out of curiosity, one time I said, I wonder if I can, and I turned I have a VPN that I use, and I turned it on, and I was able to watch the Blues games just fine. Now they weren't live; they were like right after. But if you have NHL TV, I think it's 48 hours after a game, or 24 hours, maybe it's 48 that you can watch local games then. But what good does that do? Because you've heard the score by then. But so I tried to watch it right after the game was over because I think I recorded it on Spectrum. And I think the Spectrum DVR didn't record, or it was a power. I don't know what happened, but I logged on NHL TV and fired that up via VPN. I was able to watch the game like later that night. So it worked for me. I don't know. I'm not sure what the difference was.
So we got a couple comments we should get to here. New listener, I'm thinking, at least new live listener. Glass Can Bottle Beer Reviews says, "What's up, boys? Blues fan. Krug, baby." So I'm guessing he's a big Krug fan. Then we also have him saying, "Looks like Jeff could take a man out on a power play." Not sure what that means.
I think it means a date. That's a sexual post.
A date?
Take a man out on a power play. Yeah,
because I'm an attractive man. Okay, yeah. I'll take that. And then let's see. We've got a couple more comments from him. He says,
"You can probably find somebody in the Grove, I think."
Yeah. Dude,
yeah.
I could walk out in my front yard and find somebody. That's how great I am.
Just walk. Just hold a sign saying you're a bear, and you'd be fine.
There you go. That's what I'll do. Austin Lynch asking Jeff when you want to run up game 2. I'll tell you right now, Austin, we've already played 2 games, and I beat your ass both times. I'm glad to beat you a third time if you like. Maybe after this. Austin Lynch.
Oh yeah, he.
I know, Austin, you got school tomorrow. What am I saying?
He's been trying to. We've been trying to organize a time to play some Fortnite too. So hasn't worked out.
Oh yeah, you should do that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I might join you for that too. I'm not very good at Fortnite, but
I'm not either.
Well,
I like playing with my kids. It's fun. I'll play with my kids. So yeah, let's play. Do it. Let's get beat up by 12-year-olds online.
Jimmy Anderson says I use Bill Day's cable every day. So there you go. Talking about stealing people's credit cards. So apparently Jimmy's stealing your internet. So hey, I haven't seen you out in the bushes, Jimmy. Next time, say hi.
The Troy police are not cool, not nice people. So I shouldn't say that. The Troy police can be rather sticklers for the rules, or whatever. But so yeah, anything you're gonna admit to in Troy as far as being against the rules are concerned, might want to shy away from that.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Don't look like you don't belong here, or don't look like you live on Meadow. Those are that's my advice to outsiders visiting Troy.
I don't know what that means, but I'll take your word for it. We got Michael Leon, a good friend of mine and a friend of the show, guy who's played hockey with all three of us. My wife is trying to figure out how to perm your hair, Ponzi. I think it's plausible. That has been a conversation in the hockey locker room on Sundays. They want me to perm my hair, and his wife is a stylist. So
no, do people still perm hair? I guess they do.
That's kind of the joke.
Is that an 80s thing, 90s thing?
Yeah.
My cousin, not Jeff, but his brother, in high school, he permed his hair.
Permed his mullet.
Permed his mullet. Yeah, it was something else. I mean, at the time, I guess it was kind of like, it's something guys were kind of doing a little bit, but looking back on it, it's one of those things where it's like, oh my God, you see a dated picture. It's like, oh, I wonder if his kids nowadays give him crap for that picture.
My dad permed his hair for a good 20 years.
Oh wow! So is that okay? Like that was are all perms like curly? Is that the way they work, or are they just like?
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the point.
Well,
put some an element to your hair that you don't have, and I say it from experience. I did have permed hair for about I don't know. How do you not know this?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to people's grooming habits that much. Am I like the only person in this podcast that had a perm? My goodness.
I haven't, but I'm about to have one apparently.
Well, I guess I will be soon.
No,
huh?
I and mine was totally about hockey hair. Like it was, Okay. I wanted.
You wanted the out the back of the helmet.
Well, it wasn't out of the top. It wasn't out of the back. I didn't have a mullet. I didn't have long in the back. It was all on top. It was crazy. Your cousin Jeff has pictures. Our hockey team pictures.
Okay. Did I not know you at the time, or
I don't
remember that at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have to see if I can find those pictures and we'll get them posted.
Good. All right. I'm looking forward to that. The NHL Division naming rights have been sold, which, so the West is going to be the West Division sponsored by Honda. North Division sponsored by Scotia Bank, which would be, I guess, Scotia is shortened to Scotia. Central Division is sponsored by Discover, and the Eastern Division is sponsored by Mass Mutual. Thoughts on this, guys? Do you care?
Well, the way that I see it is, as fans, this will be the first and last time we discuss this. Just like the All-Star Game. All-Star Game presented by Honda. We're going to call it the All-Star Game. So it's not. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't mean shit. And I think people reacting to this, it's just a way for the NHL to make more money this year because they're not going to have fans in the stands. I'm okay with it. But it does make me wonder, though, if during broadcasts we're going to hear the announcers say, hey, let's take a look at the standings at the West Division presented by Honda. Like, are we going to hear them say that?
You know what, though? Even if they...
Absolutely, you will.
I agree. I think you will too. And just like power play is sponsored by so and so, Ameren Power Play. It's do people care the power play is sponsored by Ameren? I mean, do people care their ads? There are 4 ads on the ice. Do people care their ads on the boards? Do people care there are more ads in the stands now on the ribbon board and stuff and on the jumbotron? I don't know. I mean, I don't really care. Now, granted, I would prefer it not go the way of European hockey, where there's ads on every square inch of the pants, jersey, socks, helmet. I'd rather that not happen because everything looks such, and design wise, it's a confusing mess, complicated mess.
But what did you think of the Chipotle ads on Team USA jerseys?
I'm trying to remember them. There was just the one. There's just the one, right? The one. Where was it?
Right on the shoulder.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the way they put it, it kind of blended in.
Yeah.
That you knew it was the Chipotle logo.
Yeah, okay. Nike has done the same thing on hockey jerseys. I mean, there's always been a CCM or a Reebok logo or a Coho or something on a hockey jersey too. What?
But they were the manufacturer of the jersey, though.
Yeah, still. I mean, but with that said, it's still an ad on a jersey. I agree with you, but it's. I mean, I get it. But I mean, but Nike had a swoosh on the shoulder patch. I do believe that the Red Wings had what was it? Amway. Back in the day, back in like 05, 6, 7, something like that. They had I don't know if it was on their jersey or on their practice jerseys or somewhere, or on the logo, on the Red Wings logo. In certain situations, it was the Detroit Red Wings presented by Amway under the logo. So that was kind of weird.
Detroit Red Wings brought to you by Betsy DeVos and family.
Oh.
But I don't.
Brought to you by Nelly.
I don't care about the one bit about the ads. The way they're doing them, the way they're doing this right now, and the way that the ads are currently in the league, I don't give two shits about that at all.
Yeah.
It's not intrusive. It's not over the top by any means. If they can do advertising this way, like everyone's seen the graphic with the 4 divisions and the logos, which look kind of cool, by the way. And the little, same thing as the All-Star, the game was presented by Honda, same kind of thing. It's not over the top, like in your face, like European hockey is. It's done fine. I don't have a problem with it. Who cares? That's not something for me to get upset about at all. So
no,
agree.
Especially with revenues being so negatively impacted because of the pandemic, and you can't get fans in the buildings. You need to make money somewhere, so do it. They've had the Devils, and I forget who else have put stickers, sponsor stickers on their helmets this year. It's fun. It isn't like those, the late 90s, early 2000s Euro jerseys that, everybody cringes when, that gets splashed across our Twitter feeds. Right now it's good. And, I think the worst part to me is the forced corporate jargon of having, to contractually say, the West Division brought to you by Honda, whenever they're going into the intros of the game. That I hate the forced nature of that, but I can live with it. I don't care. And they're gonna, ultimately this is gonna lead to more fodder for jokes and memes, and so why not?
What about Let's Go Blues Radio sponsored by Manscaped? As long as the sponsor's cool.
Right. Jeff did mow your lawn earlier.
He did.
He did. Lawnmower 3.0.
He did. But that's right. Oh, I'd rather have a perm than have Jeff do that. I think Jimmy Anderson says things in YouTube chat just to get a reaction.
Clearly.
Yeah. So,
and I will tell you, Jimmy, I think you were watching me for that reaction, and you did just get one. So congratulations.
Yeah. So Vince Dunn signed a 1-year deal, $1.875 million. This is a tweet from Cap Friendly, who talks about the Blues and the cap situation. So Vince Dunn's $1,875,000 puts 1 year contract, puts the Blues $3,050,000 above the ceiling with a 22 player roster. If Hoffman does indeed sign between 3.5 and 4.5 million, which reports are that he will, they could waive 2 players like De La Rose and McEachern, then sign Hoffman and only have to play Steen on the LTIR to be cap compliant. So
and that's just Steen. Keep that in mind, because it's probably going to be Steen and Tarasenko. Right.
Yeah. Steen, I mean, so, and I know they want to maintain flexibility with the cap, with stuff, and I know that Tarasenko is going to come back, so they will need that cap space eventually, which, and creating $1 million or $2 million in cap space, if they have to, is not a huge deal. They can always waive a player, or whatnot, or send a guy down or whatever, so to clear some space. But the $1.875 million is, that's a great deal for Dunn, for 1 year, granted. But I think that's a fantastic deal for a guy who advanced stats wise is the advanced stats guys will say he's the best defenseman we have.
That's true. The way you word that, it's not a great deal for Dunn. It's a great deal for the Blues.
Right. If that's what I meant, I'm sorry. That's what I implied. I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. Great deal for Blues and Blues fans.
People know that's not what Curt Price believes.
Right. Thank you. But yeah, I'm not. I don't see a. I expected the Blues to sign him for a little more. I'm happy that they got him for what they did. I think this is and advanced stats do say that Vince Dunn is the best defenseman we have. Which, I've always been I like advanced stats, but I hate those that just exclusively only deal with advanced stats, because that's not how things work. So, do you think Vince Dunn is our best defenseman right now?
No.
See, that's what I mean.
I am actually on the side of there's a small faction of Blues fans who kind of, and this was before the Pietrangelo left, and I'd like to see how it works now, but to me, I think Vince Dunn could be your odd man out. I don't think you need a Vince Dunn. I think with the names coming up, and especially Scott Perunovich is a guy that everyone's talking about across the hockey world.
Right.
I don't know if you. And again, I'm not saying trade Vince Dunn right now. Definitely not saying that. I'd like to see how he does this year, and maybe you look into next year possibly doing that. But I don't think he's top 3 defenseman for the Blues. I want a defenseman who I can trust in my own zone, and I'm not saying I don't trust Vince Dunn, but I just think there are better defensive defensemen than Vince Dunn out there. And but having said that, I love this deal. I think Vince Dunn's a hell of a hockey player. Not taking anything away from him. I think he's a great offensive player. He's got great instincts. Knows when to jump up in the play. Doesn't really get caught that often like he did his rookie year. I think under Berube, he has played even better. So I'm a big fan of this deal. Again, I'm not saying trade the guy. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying I think he's a guy that could be expendable in the future. I don't think he's the guy that a lot of people think he is, but I do think he's a solid player, and he's a big part of the Blues winning the Cup 2 years ago, and we could see him be another big part of coming up.
I think with Gunnarsson and Bertuzzo on this roster, I easily put Dunn ahead of those guys, and I would never call him the odd man out at all, unless he has a bad run of games or something, and then he gets benched. But especially with Gunnarsson's contract is up after the season, and Bertuzzo has 2 years left. Gunnarsson makes $1.75 million, and Bertuzzo makes $1.375. I would see those guys traded, waived, whatever, before Dunn gets moved.
bad wording by me. I meant in the future with the guys coming up. I could see him being a guy that gets moved.
I would hope that well, obviously next year Dunn's going to sign for more if we do retain him, but I would rather see other guys come up, Mikkola, Perunovic, whoever, and then move on from Gunnarsson and Bertuzzo if that's still in the mix at the time, then to see Dunn maybe fall by the way eventually because of guys coming up. I think a lot can happen in a year or two or three, obviously, but right now with the roster the way it looks, I would hope. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that I would just rather move on from Gunnarsson or Bertuzzo as opposed to moving on from Dunn, unless you value a bigger, tougher defenseman, stay-at-home guy more than Dunn.
I want to get to Bill here, but I just want to add a real quick couple comments here in the Facebook chat. I'm sorry, YouTube chat. Divide by Zero, who was on last week, says, and this is my comment of the show. I'm going to go ahead and call it now, and it's actually an intelligent comment. It's not just a silly, stupid comment. I know.
So it's not by
crazy?
Jimmy Anderson then?
No.
This is not from Jimmy Anderson. Okay. All right.
No. I think the problem with saying someone is the best defenseman, that not all are the same and they each play vastly different roles. 100%. It's a matter of a top 6 unit that plays well together and that you can rely on for different things. I'm 100% with you, and that's why I love the Blues defense going into the season. And then the game 67-68 says it's a prove-it deal for Dunn. Brad Warthog, a steal for Dunn. So, a lot of people seem to be on board with this. And, it's been a lot of fun to see how this defense is going to shape out this season. But, of course, like I said, I want to get to Bill, but you haven't said anything about Dunn.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You gotta have him out there ahead of Bortuzzo and Gunnarsson. But I like having that kind of depth. Although at some point you do have to let the Perunovic, the Mikkolas, those guys have a shot, and maybe with the taxi squad situation this year, they'll get some more looks.
There's that with Falk too. I mean, Falk. There's a chance, however small that may be, with him and Seattle, if they decide to expose him, if they can bribe them to take him too. So he may or may not be in the future too.
Right, and I'm sure we'll cover that a lot more depending on Falk's performance this year, but that is a possibility. But you'd have to think that you're going to have to throw somebody else into that. Throw a trade their way, give them somebody else to entice them to do that. But getting back to Vince Dunn, when he is on his game, he is a possession driving machine. Probably our best possession driver from the back end. But I'm hoping that his really what I thought it was awful in the bubble. I thought he was one of the least impactful guys. But rumor was that he was one of the guys that had COVID before going into the bubble. I'm hoping that's what it was, because the Blues are a much better team when he is playing his aggressive puck pushing type game, moving the puck up the ice.
I agree, I like Dunn a lot. I think. And there's a comment in the YouTube chat that says Dunn has arbitration rights next year. That's from the game 6768. And Brian Roberts in the YouTube chat says, in my opinion, Dunn and Schwartz aren't Blues next year. So that'll be interesting. A guy that some folks in Schwartz thought that deserved maybe some votes for captain. Might not be. Yeah, Bill's one of them. Thought that, so there's Brian Roberts feels that he may not be a Blue next year. So I don't know about that. But I mean, market drives everything, and there's a flat cap next year. So I don't know. I mean, we got Hoffman for what is going to be probably a steal. So we'll see what. Dunn. I mean, Dunn might not get much. I mean, contracts are going to be down. People signing money. I mean, you got to be elite to get some high dollars over the next year or two because of the cap and everything. So it'll be interesting to see where the Blues stand at that time. A lot can happen in a year as far as the Blues roster goes. Guys get hurt, guys get traded, guys get waived, whatever.
You sound like Taylor Hall's agent, I'm sure, because he probably told him, "Hey, contracts will be down. Be elite this year. Go play with an elite center." Oh, Jack Eichel needs somebody on his wing.
Yeah, but it's Buffalo though. It's
Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
You're not going to win a cup this year, but you might win a big contract.
It's interesting, the guys that go to Buffalo and talk about winning. It's like, you know what? You've got to create that atmosphere of winning. Yeah, it would be kind of cool to go to Buffalo and be a part of a turnaround. Because those fans there, I mean, personally, I would, and it's probably like a lot of players felt winning the cup here in St. Louis. They're the first one here, right? So it'd be the first one in Buffalo. And if somebody could turn that team around or be a part of that organization and turn it around and win a cup with the Sabres, I'm sure it'd be badass. You know, if that town would go bananas for a Stanley Cup. I mean, that the fans are second to none as far as passionate, viewer. I mean, they're always up on near the top of TV ratings for games that don't even involve the Sabres. So,
well, I mean, I hate people comparing Blues fans to Cardinals fans because it is slightly a different, in a way, comparison. But I will say, look at the way Bills fans are reacting this year, finally making the playoffs. I mean, they just won the Super Bowl to them, and anything else is cake. So it's just, that's how it's going to be in Buffalo. And that's why, from here on out, now that the Blues have won their cup, I think that's my team I'm going to root for in the East, because that would be nice to see.
I'm not sure why. I've always kind of had a soft spot for Buffalo, even though they're a highly deal. And the fans have been kind of surly since then. It's kind of turned me off them a little bit, but it's more so the fans, not the team. I don't know. I've always been a fan. Maybe because when I was a kid, Great Skate magazine, they were based out of Buffalo, and I was like, I don't know why I associated that. I love that, getting that magazine and looking through the stuff I was never going to buy, right? So
yeah. It was for me. It was Gunzo's out of Chicago. That was my copy.
Yeah, I remember I went to Chicago just to buy a stick from Gunzo's.
Yeah,
because I love catalogs.
Yeah, that was like my Bible, and like Curt said, things I was never gonna buy. But
just an afternoon of just sitting and just paging through, reading descriptions of gloves, sticks, helmets.
If we had the internet when I was in 7th or 8th grade, I don't think I would have gone to high school, because I would just like trying to figure out ways to buy all the goalie gear that I would find online.
That's a good point. That's a good point, because if I had the internet when I was, it was in like the late 80s, mid to late 80s, early 90s, when I couldn't get enough hockey information. I was like buying every newspaper I could when I was like at lunch at college, or in high school. I go to the library, and I would just they'd have like 10 newspapers from, Times, the Post-Dispatch, and all this around the country, and I would just go and just read the box scores from the hockey games and the different stories from the hockey teams around the country. Love doing that stuff. And I agree. I would be glued to the screen. My eyeballs would be dried out. We are 1 week away from opening night. Doesn't feel like it to me for some reason. Blues are in camp, had full participation each day so far. I'm sure in a few days, when we're a few days away, it'll sink in more that we're about to have the season opener. But so Rutherford, Jeremy Rutherford, friend of the show, Jeremy Rutherford, on
there you go.
A couple days ago, pulled the regular lines from each of the two practices to see what they would look like. So we got. They're doing Shen, O'Reilly, and Perron, and Schwartz, Thomas, and Hoffman, Sanford, Bozak, and Kyrou, and then Clifford, Sundqvist, and Barbashev. So I like that. I mean, that's without Tarasenko too.
Yeah, I love it. And I was
Mhm.
going to say, because if you look back at the 2018-2019 season, going into the playoffs and through most of the first round, that top line was Shen, O'Reilly, and Tarasenko, and they were sick together. I mean, they were so good together. And, they broke it up eventually because Schwartz is great with all three of those players as well. So it was just, let's mix Schwartz in there. But having Perron on that right side with Shen and O'Reilly, I think that is excellent. I know Shen likes playing center, but those three as the top line, I mean, that to me, that rivals any top line in hockey. I mean, they don't have maybe the star power of the Ovechkin line or the Crosby line or the McDavid line, but those three guys, they can do everything on the ice together. We've seen some great chemistry between O'Reilly and Perron over the years, and Shen is just a guy who leads the team. Obviously, O'Reilly too, but leads the team offensively with just great plays, battles in the corner. When you're looking for a big goal, Shen's there to score it. And then, I mean, your second line is Schwartz, Thomas, and Hoffman. Hoffman's a first-line player on almost any team in the NHL. Thomas is one of the biggest up-and-coming players in the league, and I think he's going to have a breakout year this year. And then Schwartz is a guy who's always been on the top line. So it's just, say it for Bozak Kyrou is your third line. I mean, it's insane looking at this. And this is without Sammy Blais in the lineup, who has become one of my favorite players. It's crazy.
I mean, and you could swap out Blais for Clifford, and that fourth line could be, I mean, a hard hit. I mean, Clifford's a hard hitting guy, but I mean, Blais hits, and add some scoring to that fourth line. I mean, my God, how do you defend against a healthy say you add Blais and Tarasenko to this roster? How do you defend against this? That's going to be interesting to me. And Thomas and Hoffman, you mentioned, Jeff. I think that is going to be what I'm going to be watching most this year, Thomas and Hoffman, and how that works together. Because I mean, Thomas is a fantastic setup man, and like you said, one of the up and coming players, one of the top players under he's 20, he's 21 now, 20 he's 20 now, right? I think 21. Yeah. So, 20,
so young.
Yeah. I know, but he's so good, such good vision. I think he probably has better vision than O'Reilly on the ice. I mean, it's just so good. He's just young. I love this lineup, and like I said, this is without Blais and Tarasenko. This is a Stanley Cup caliber roster if it stays healthy without Blais and Tarasenko on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is Blais injured, or he's
fine?
Not. They picked Samford over him, right? The one thing I'd say about this, about the lineup, apart from, I eventually think that Blais gonna take over Samford's spot on that line.
I do too.
I'm still not a big believer in Samford. He's had some great stretches, but I don't know. I guess I'm just not bought in. Nah.
He had one great stretch. 15 games was something like that last year, was it?
Yeah, but during the Stanley Cup final, he wasn't terrible.
No, I mean he got
playoffs.
Yeah, I mean he didn't. Okay, I think we agree on Samford. Some fans are pretty high on him. I'm not. I hope he plays much better than I expect him to, but I'm not that high on him.
Yeah. My biggest thing about the way that Berube's approached the lineup, it's still so refreshing. He's been here. This is his third year after the terrible Yo experiment. But just thinking back to if Hitchcock was still the guy running the show, there's no way that Robert Thomas is getting his chance to be second
Probably
at
not.
his age. And Tyler Bozak would be forced in there because he's older, he's a more experienced guy. what you guys said about, really being excited about seeing what Thomas and Hoffman can do together. I mean, reading some of the quotes that Thomas had about being amazed by how quick and accurate Hoffman's shot is, man, that they are going to combine. I totally see Hoffman putting up 30, 35 goals
in a 56-game season?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a lot.
Ooh.
That's a lot.
I like Bill.
Yeah.
I like him for
I hope
many
so.
reasons.
And I'll tell you what, as much as it was hard to play against Kyle Clifford, and there was no way you could like him when he played for the Kings. He is one of those guys that once he's on your team, you're going to love him. Perfect fourth line left winger in a Berube system, in my opinion. And if he gets
exactly
you can throw Gray in there.
That's exactly why they got him. Because
Yeah.
he's a Berube player, and I think again you're going to see him fourth line mainly, maybe third line in a pinch, but he's a guy that's going to step in and deliver some hits when they need it and forecheck. And I mean, you said it, Bill. In LA, we hated him, right? So let's make every other city hate him.
Look at the okay. I mean, if you're a believer in adding toughness to an NHL roster, look at our top line: Schenn, O'Reilly, and Perron. Schenn's a tough guy. Schenn will fight someone. He's a tough guy. He can be. He's a power forward, plays kind of tough. Yeah, I like that. But O'Reilly, no. Perron, he's an agitator. He's not a tough guy. Schwartz, no. Thomas, no. Hoffman, no. Stanford, no. Bozak, no. Kyrou, no. Clifford, yes. Sundqvist, no. Barbashev, no. So this roster here, I mean, without Clifford in the lineup, he'll be a guy that rotates in and out with other people probably. But I think if you're a believer in a roster needing some toughness, this roster needs some toughness in it. I mean, because if the forwards don't have it, aside from Schenn, if Clifford's out, and so then you're looking to the defense, and you've got Bertuzzo on defense, and Parayko. If Parayko fought, he would kill somebody, but he doesn't. He's a gentle giant. That's it. Kyrou, I guess Kyrou can. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Kyrou can, but I mean, there's not many. That's my point. There's not a ton of toughness on this roster. So I guess if you're going to be critical about it, would this team get pushed around a little bit if they're not as physical or as tough? I mean,
I don't think so. I think that this team has the right amount of toughness. This isn't 10 years ago. This isn't, we're still not seeing a fight every 2 games. We're seeing a fight every 7, 8 games now. I mean, I think that Schenn on your top line is a guy that will defend anyone on the rink. And again, you mentioned Clifford, Bertuzzo in the lineup, but if they're not in there, you got Sammy Blais, another tough guy. Plus, right. We've seen other guys step up and be tough when they need to be. Sanford has done it. He fought Bertuzzo, but
he got his ass kicked by Bertuzzo. Yeah, but I'm not talking about fighting. I'm not talking about fighting. I'm talking about playing a heavy game. I'm talking playing a tough game. You know what I mean?
Hoffman plays a heavy game. Granted, only in the offensive zone, but he can play a little heavy.
And I'm not saying they need it. I'm not saying the team needs it. I'm just saying they're going to be like, if you're big on a team having a certain level of toughness, I can see where those people would say, hey, this team is short of that. I'm not saying they need it. I can see where other people might say that, and it's a discussion that can be had. Does this team need that? I mean, you could look at I guess if if a team can't catch you to hit you, or you're too slick or slimy on the ice to really played a heavy game against, because the Blues, when they won the Cup, they played a heavy game. They had, but this roster is a little bit different. Can they play that same heavy game? I don't know with this roster.
Well, I think we're arguing semantics here, because I think we both agree that they're tough. And if anybody knows, the reference that I just made, please put it in the chat. And I will tell you what, anybody knows that reference, I will send you a T-shirt.
Wow.
because that is from one of my favorite media things of all time. But anyway, arguing semantics. So no, I just think that there's the right amount of toughness here. I mean, I think a guy like Barbershop, a guy like Sundquist, anybody who argues, and I'm not saying you are, Curt, I'm just saying anybody who does argue that there's not enough toughness in their roster, I say, look at the other 30 teams. I think the Blues have just as much toughness as anybody else in the league.
I think if you insert Blais in Sanford's place, I think you can, and it's that close to me as far as like whether a team is satisfies the level of toughness a lot of people might want. I think if you insert Blais over Sanford, because Blais is a tough player, Blais hits a lot. That's part of the reason why he's hurt so much. But I think you've got Clifford, you got Blais, you got Shen on the left side that can all hit, and they will fight. Well, Blais doesn't fight that much, but he's a tough player. He hits a lot. So playing a heavy game is what I'm talking about. So I think that satisfies that to some degree. Barbashev will hit too. So, and you got Perron as the agitator. So.
Yeah, I think there was a feeling that, in the bubble that the Blues lacked sandpaper, and a lot of people thought that, the loss of Pat Maroon was more significant than the Blues would let on, than the Blues would like to admit, I should say. But definitely this roster is going to be heavier and going to have more sandpaper, as they like to say. It's going to be... it's going to be definitely more interesting, from a physical perspective for the Blues this year. And, given the, the way this season is going to be set up, basically 2 games in a city and move on, it's going to make for some interesting second nights of back-to-backs.
I think I looked at the schedule and I had it up earlier and I don't have it up now, but I think we play one team 4 times in a row. It's a
playoff series.
It might have been Anaheim. Maybe we're playing 4 straight games. I think I can't recall, but yeah, it's like 2 there and 2 here. I think it is. So
I'm going to look at it right now, but as I look it up, I'm going to ask the question: how have we been having this conversation, yet we have not brought up the word gumption?
Little guy with gumption. Who's got gumption on this team? Schwartz got gumption.
He's got schwizzle.
He does have a schwizzle. Krug has gumption. Krug has gumption.
In April we have 3 games, April 20th to the 4th, with the Avalanche, and then we follow that April 26th through the hang on. Okay, there it is. April 26th through Saturday, May 1st. We have 4 games against Minnesota.
That's I'm gonna take not such a wild stab. That's the first time in team history. First time in team history we've played 4 straight games against a team in the regular season. It's got to be. We've never played 3 straight, have we? Against one team? Can't have.
It's pretty wild that we're going to play against them 4 times.
So that's like a mini playoff series right there. I mean, you talk about there could be some bad blood happening in that series if stuff carries over. My God, back-to-backs alone sometimes in the regular season cause issues in the second half because of things that happened in the first game. Now play 4 straight? Holy shit!
Yeah,
it's fun.
It's going to be a crazy dynamic, and one of the the things that I'm most looking forward to this year is how much rivalry, even though these aren't our natural rivals that we're going to be playing, except for maybe Minnesota and Colorado, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call. I mean, I love looking forward to playing Colorado because they're such a good team, and we had some amazing games against them last year. But I wouldn't call Colorado a rival. Would you guys? I mean, not enough.
I think if last year would have played out the way that it was, I think they would have become a rival. Because if I correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we end the season with like 3 games and 3 out of 5 against Colorado or something?
Yeah,
weird?
they were right on our heels, and
they were right on our heels, and there's potential that we would have met them in the playoffs. I think after this last season, if it would have played out, I think we would have said definitely
Possibly.
they're a rival.
Yeah, and playoffs create rivalries most of the time, so that's a good possibility. We talked about Robert Thomas being impressed by Hoffman. The quote that Luke Korak tweeted was Robert Thomas on Mike Hoffman. We all know he's a sniper. We all know he scores goals. I've been really impressed, actually. I didn't realize how good of a shot it really was until I passed it to him on a 2-on-1, and he put it right under the bar. So, yeah.
That sounds like a Ponder to Price scenario there. I mean,
that's a Ponder to Price.
You always like that.
No, you don't. Not really. Ponder to Price under the bar as the goalie slides across two pad stack. Yeah, pretty goals.
Yeah, with
the pretty ones.
With Bill Day just looking lost in net.
Well, I don't know, Bill. You did you adopt you were what style of hockey of goaltending did you have? Were you a wah butterfly kind of guy, or were you more of a John Casey kind of guy?
I think you were more of a ball cap kind of guy.
Yeah. No, I was definitely trained as a stand-up goaltender because that's what it was. But that's why I loved Patrick Waugh so much.
That's like graduating college right before computers got big.
Pretty much, it really is. I mean, Patrick Waugh was such a hero to me because he brought in so much innovation into the style of play, and that obviously I was never going to be good enough to go anywhere playing goal, but in my later years, absolutely, I was more of a butterfly type goaltender. But at the end of the day, and I think the as technical as the goaltending game has gotten today, if you can get any piece of your body on it to keep it out of the net, you do it.
Yeah,
I think
that's the style that works for you.
Right. That's always going to be the right approach to get. But
it's the Hasek approach.
Right. The people that are more technically sound, the way kids are being trained today and, the way the professionals train today, they put themselves into the best position to be able to get something on every puck. The game has evolved so much. I fear if I ever try to put on the pads again and go out there that it will be readily apparent how much of a dinosaur I am.
No, I'm not kidding. Like, and obviously I'm not asking you to put on goalie pads. I mentioned getting the quick jersey. I seriously think we should hit the street one day after I get my jersey and reenact that goal. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I'm all for it.
I'll play the role of who was it that was who watched the puck go in?
Was it
Doughty? Doughty.
Was it
Doughty? He was on the ice and he was out of reach of the puck and he just kind of watched it happen.
I thought you were going to say because Shattenkirk was sitting in the box.
That is
just sitting on the sideline watching.
That is not unfamiliar territory for me. So in the box. Although during one of the heydays of our roller hockey career, Bill, Chris Schmieder was in the penalty box for the whole thing. The comeback and the win, yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
Kyrou is getting a look in camp on the third line, playing on the second line on a lot of the split squad stuff, but that would probably put him on the third line, as JR pointed out earlier. He said Kyrou is flying around today and has finished a couple of nice chances. With him skating on the third line on the first day of camp, the Blues appear to be giving him a chance to win the spot. So far, so good for him. By the way, he's 25 now in camp, number 25. And also,
he's a big Mark McGuire fan, so that's why.
Is that true?
No.
I thought it was a Vitaly Provorov fan.
Oh. So
Yep.
The scrimmage tonight actually had Kyrou on the third line of the blue second line of the blue team with Sanford, Bozak, and Kyrou, and Shen, O'Reilly, and Perron. And did you guys see who won the scrimmage tonight? It was 3-2 blue team, I think, last time I checked.
Blue team. Yeah, they won, I believe.
All right. So the Blues power play lines look like this so far in camp. The first line power play is Shen, O'Reilly, Perron, so essentially the first line, and then Hoffman and Krug on defense. Well, I guess Hoffman, whatever. So it's Shen, O'Reilly, Perron, Hoffman and Krug. Krug up high, probably Hoffman on the near boards for his one-timer that he likes to take. So, speaking of which, Hoffman might be the best guy, him and Perron, to let go one-timers from the boards on the power play, on the pass from the...
How long ago was it that we were bitching that this team didn't seem to understand one-timers?
And Tarasenko can't take them.
Yeah, and now you got guys like Perron and Hoffman, who are known for taking great one-timers and putting it on net.
Yep, deadly. So I mean, and Perron was lethal in the power play last year. So, and Hoffman is a lethal power play guy too. Our power play should be, famous last words, should be killer this year. With Krug, added Krug too.
We did lose Mark Savard. I don't know if we ever covered that.
We did.
We lost our power play specialist. Did they ever replace him, or is that just going to be an internal thing?
No, they've got somebody else. Who is that now? Who's doing it? Shoot. Was it
Vladimir Chebaturkin, I believe.
That's your answer for everything. Chubby Turkey. Chubby Turkey is your answer for everything. I forgot who they said.
It's not Montgomery?
I think it is Montgomery.
Yeah, it should be Montgomery.
Yeah. I think you're right. It is Montgomery. Yeah. And it's interesting because as soon as Montgomery left the Stars, their power play tailed.
Yep.
Which is weird. Same players, right? But so that's and the second line power play is Schwartz, Bozak, Thomas, Dunn, and Parayko. So Dunn and Parayko out there for the second power play. That's interesting because I like that a lot.
Yeah, and let's give some credit to the game 67-68. You guys are on a bit of a, about a 20-second delay or so. He does say Jim Montgomery. So obviously he was answering our questions. Yes. Thank you, the game. You're correct.
Boom.
But yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. That power play to me just, it makes me salivate, honestly. Like I was reading the tweets about that power play lineup, and listen, I'll say I'm still a purist. I still like having two defensemen on the point, just to alleviate issues of having odd man rushes and you're stuck with a forward back. And I think the Blues have the capability to put two defensemen on your first power play unit. But I am all for them just trying everything out they can, trying Hoffman on the point, do whatever they can. Perron's been on the point before in the past. O'Reilly, Shen, they could all play the point, honestly. But I eventually, and we've been saying this for years, I eventually would love to see Parayko jump on that top unit and just literally every time, hey, Colton,
tee off.
Puck goes on your stick. I don't care who's in front of you. Fucking shoot the puck. That's what McKinnis did. People would get in front of him, and he would just wind up every time and just say, you know what, I don't care. I'm going to shoot the puck. And guys learned, I'm not going to get in front of him. I'm just going to try and clear the pass so the goalie can see it. And that's what I think Parayko needs to do. I would love to see Parayko on that line, but who are you going to take off that top line to put him on there? I mean, that's a ridiculous power play.
I mean, Krug. I don't know, guy. I a name pops in my head. But no, you don't want to. Maybe Shen.
Maybe Shen.
I don't know.
Maybe even O'Reilly. You move one of those centers down, and you put one of those centers between Schwartz and Thomas on the second line. I mean, that's good too.
When Tarasenko comes back, then who do you move around? I mean,
well, I'll say that I think that one of the problems with the Blues power play in previous years was that they forced their number one defenseman to quarterback the power play when he wasn't good at it. And that was a big problem I had with Pietrangelo. And I don't know if you guys saw it, the Korak's tweet out of the first scrimmage said that Parayko lined up on the top power play unit, and first pass he got, he one-timed it and went bar down from the point. And just enticing everybody to want that, to what Jeff was saying, the McInnes, just don't care who's in front of him, just let it go. And whether he's first or second power play unit, as long as he's out there and shooting the puck and not just trying to be a setup guy like Pietrangelo always did, bring it.
I think, switching to goaltenders, I think that Hofer has a shot at the backup spot this year. Based on what Pang is saying.
Whoa. Is that a hot take?
Based on what Pang said, he's looked great. And I saw some highlights from the scrimmage tonight, and these are extremely small sample sizes, okay? So what Pang said, he's looked great. And then Husso had a horrible giveaway. He kind of stopped the puck behind the net and passed it out the other side right to, who was it? Was it Thomas? I forgot. And he opened that just right in. I mean, just a terrible play. So, in a shortened camp, those kinds of things are magnified. So, I don't know. I mean, based on what's being said and the one highlight I saw, Husso made a huge gaffe, but I'm not saying he's going to make the team. I'm just saying that this seems to be implied that he's given Husso a run for his money.
They're high on Hofer. I mean, I could see that being a real battle. I know last week I mentioned John Gillies' last name, but I think it's just because he's the veteran and he's the guy you expect to step in as the number 3. But I mean, Hofer is a guy that we've seen him in the World Juniors. We've seen him do great stuff. I mean, he was ridiculous at the end of last season before COVID struck and ended the CHL season. I would love to see him get a shot. And I think, and nothing against Ville Husso, I think Ville Husso has a chance to be a good NHL goalie too, but to see a guy like Joel Hofer step in and steal that spot, I'd love to see that competition.
Oops. There we go. So let's see. Perron had off-season surgery. A couple more things before we go, which I didn't know about until it was just reported that he had it. But Rutherford reported that Perron indicated a few times this offseason that he had a minor cleanup work done. But today he acknowledged it was this was a couple days ago. It was a sports hernia surgery. So, but he looks good in camp, said to be 100%. Hopefully things stay 100% for him. And the West Coast start times were announced. Actually, the entire schedule start times were announced. And I think this will appease a lot of people who are complaining about the possibility of a lot of late starts. So the NHL made good on their promise of earlier start times for West Coast games for Midwest teams. The start times were announced for all games. And after the 9:30 Central start time for the season opener, which is the last game of a tripleheader on NBCSN on opening night, the Blues only have 4 weekday games at 9 or 9:30. They have a few more on the weekends, but that's the weekend. 9:30 start on the weekend shouldn't be as big a deal for most people. So only 4 games during the week at 9 or 9:30. That's March 5th, 7th, 15th, and 17th, and April 15th. So there are 52 of the 56 games start at 8 p.m. or earlier. So I think that's pretty good considering we're in the West Coast division, right? Would you say?
Brought to you by Honda.
Brought to you by Honda, right?
Brought to you by Carl's Jr.
I haven't. Nice, well done, Idiocracy. I haven't heard anybody complain at all, except for one person who wasn't aware that the games were earlier. They thought every game was going to be at 9:30. Like one of those Facebook fans. So,
No, I mean, like I said, I said this on Twitter the minute that schedule came out, and I said it last week. I said they were tone deaf with that first game, which I still believe, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
Releasing just the first game and telling fans, we're going to accommodate you, but your first game is going to be at 9:30.
Yeah, later than we've ever played in Colorado.
Yeah, I still say that as tone deaf. But having said that, I will commend the NHL on, it's insane how the schedule turned out. It's not at all what I expected. I'll admit, I actually did believe them when they said they were going to accommodate typical Central Division fans, St. Louis fans particularly. But I didn't think they were going to do it to the extent they did. Like you said, 4 weekday games at 9 or 9:30. That's crazy. In a 56-game season where you're playing primarily on the West Coast, that's unbelievable. So kudos, NHL. I kind of judged you wrong, but again, like I've said a million times, and Curt said it too, it doesn't affect 2 of the 3 people on this show because we would have watched him anyway. But I know Bill, who I would love to get your opinion on, I know you're excited that they've decided to start the games earlier.
Yeah, I probably would have stayed up even if they were later during the weekdays, just because I've gotten to a point where I need hockey back in my life desperately. Last night, one point I didn't get to make when we were talking about the World Juniors game last night is just how great it felt to sit in my basement with a hockey game on the TV and a beer in my hand. I need that a lot more than I've had. It's been such a strange year with no hockey until mid-January. I'm hoping that'll bring some normalcy back to my life. So I think this year I would have watched more, but I'm definitely happy that, I'm not going to, as long as we don't plan any post-game shows, because, those will go until 1 a.m. But here it is. I'm in 11:20 on a school night, and we're talking hockey, and I'm having a blast.
Are you still working from home, Bill?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. We are. Next reevaluation for us is supposedly March 1st, but the common wisdom through corporate America is until there's a pandemic, and unless you're in a customer-facing role, there's no point for you to be in an office, where it's spreading. We get notifications all the time about campus. Somebody tested positive that was there, so nobody wants to go back.
Right.
So,
and
what's the point?
I can confirm that Bill has been at home the past couple months because I've been watching.
I must say, I can say I'm grateful too that my workplace allows for extended work from home, because it's been helpful with not just because of the pandemic and staying safer at home, but also with my kids and their schooling and stuff. Is like sometimes they're remote school and homeschooling, sometimes they're half and half, sometimes one of my kids goes and one's here at home. It's been whatever the need at the time is, and so I'm able to be here for that. So that's been nice, because if I had to go into work every day, it would have been kind of a mess as far as making arrangements or taking time off or begging to work from home, stuff like that. So my workplace has been fantastic about it. So I appreciate that greatly.
Same here.
Blues minor league affiliate will not play. They've opted out of the season due to COVID-19. The Springfield Thunderbirds, the brand new Blues affiliate, will not play the season, which, it had been a few months since the Blues had some negative news about their minor league affiliate. So we were overdue, right, for this.
That's right.
This news. Blues AHL players will now play with the Utica Comets, which is the Vancouver Canucks affiliate. Doug Armstrong said, "We trust that our players will be in good hands with the direction and leadership of the Canucks, Comets, and especially Robert Esch, Ryan Johnson, and Trent Cull." Cool. Both the Blues. call. Both the Blues and Canucks will have the responsibility for filling out the Comets roster spots. Which,
guys, I have great news, real quick.
Yes.
I'm not being silly. We have an in with the Utica Comets.
I thought it was with the Springfield Thunderbirds.
We have an in with the Utica Comets. This show, us,
Yes.
we have an in with the Utica Comets.
We do? Who?
Curtis Sanford is the goalie coach.
Ah.
And he's a friend of the show.
He is a friend of the show.
And he has flat out told me anytime that we want to have him on to talk AHL hockey, he's more than happy to come on.
Has anybody else in St. Louis had him on to discuss this? This is not that old
No,
news.
I'm thinking not, because we should
do that.
jump on it.
Because
Yeah, I
actually,
agree.
I'd be very interested. Maybe some people wouldn't, but I would be. And I think you guys might be too, as far as how roster decisions are going to be made. Because you got one team that's going to. I mean, some players aren't going to be playing, or they're going to rotate them in. I want how is the game to game roster situation going to work?
The way that I figure it, and again, I this is me just kind of guessing and just knowing how the AHL works, is the Comets probably didn't fill out the rest of the roster a whole lot this year, knowing that there's a potential that they're not going to have a season. So I would imagine that it's probably going to be pretty chocked full of Blues and Canucks prospects every game, I would think. Just obviously, like the taxi squads.
Well, I know. I was just curious to determine which Canucks players and which Blues players would get roster spots, because normally it would be all Vancouver Canucks property.
I think in this situation too, I think normally, we've done this whole sharing AHL things. We've seen this before in
Not with
the
an
NHL.
entire team though.
But with an entire team, I think that you're actually going to see the Vancouver Canucks step up and say, you know what? Play these Blues prospects. This is a shitty situation for St. Louis. I don't know. I really actually believe that the cooler heads will prevail. I don't know if that's the right term to use here, but I think you're going to see, there's not going to be a lot of, we got to play Vancouver guys over St. Louis. I really think that they're going to be very accommodating, and we're going to see. The only position I can see it being an issue is goaltending.
I can see them rotating guys in and out. But to be honest, I one game, you have extra guys in the box, whatever, and you rotate guys in to get. They're not going to play as many games as they would normally, but I would imagine that they would rotate guys in and out to get everyone some work.
Yeah, and I think the only way that this works is because of the taxi squad, because you're going to have extra spots for guys who otherwise would get pushed off of a 2-team roster. I still wish, and it may be that, Vancouver was the only
Vancouver.
There it is.
Thank you. I left the opening for you. I'm glad you took it. But maybe they were the only organization that was going to be flexible enough, or I don't know, maybe they couldn't find 25 people who'd make a home in Utica for 52 games or whatever they're going to have. So they needed some bodies, but at least we're not just going to be like, oh, we'll just have a team that'll play at Centene and scrimmage every day for 6 months. Something stupid like that, or just try to find individual spots on different teams. It's probably going to turn out to be the best of a shit situation. Just wish that it wasn't. If we need to make a call up, we don't have to go from the East Coast to the West Coast. But
we complained about how the Blues affiliate was in Massachusetts. Springfield, the Thunderbirds. Vancouver's affiliate is in New York, which is almost as far away from each other as you can get. So,
add in the fact that there's the whole Canadian border issue.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. You would think
up there.
You would think that they would have a Canadian-based AHL team. I don't know.
Yeah, they used to in Winnipeg until Winnipeg got, professional.
Manitoba Manitoba Moose, right? That was their team.
I have a Moose jersey.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
The game 6768 says Ryan Johnson is an ex-Blue as well. True, but he is not a friend of the show.
That is not that's true. When I had Curtis Sanford on, I did ask him that question. I said, "How weird is it to have an ex-teammate as your boss?" Because Ryan Johnson's the GM of the Utica Comets, and he said, "Yeah, it's a little odd, it's a little weird, but it happens, I guess, in hockey."
And I believe Ryan Johnson dated Aaron Andrews when he was a member of the Florida Panthers.
Really? Huh.
Good-looking fella.
Good.
He's a good-looking fella.
Good for Ryan Johnson. Good for Aaron Andrews.
Yeah, good for Aaron Andrews.
That's right.
So I have to add real quick, of all the crazy jerseys I have, I do have a Ryan Johnson jersey.
I thought you were going to say Utica Comets jersey. I was like, wow, really?
I do have a
Utica Comets jersey.
I do have a Worcester Ice Cats jersey.
Worcester.
Oh, I would love for you guys to guess who I have on the back, but I really don't think you would ever guess it. You each get one guess. How about that?
Yablonski.
Bill, what'd you say?
I said Scott Pellerin.
Yablonski.
No, both great choices, but it's actually Mr. Johnny Pohl.
Yeah. Did Yablonski ever play for Worcester? He played for the Rivermen,
No,
I thought.
He was a Riverman guy.
Okay, yeah. Okay. He did. Mr. Golden Gloves boxer. I saw him play against the Chicago Wolves one time. I was up in Chicago when we took in a Wolves game. They were playing I think they're playing the Rivermen. Or who was it? Maybe it wasn't. I think it was. But I saw Yablonski play and fight. So it's kind of cool. Anyway, good story.
Couple comments on Facebook. Scotty Poindexter says, "I'm looking forward to the later games due to my work schedule."
Yeah, me too.
And not a lot, but it's there's a couple 8 o'clock, 8:30s in there, so that's nice. Adam Gold, friend of the show, replying to my mom saying hi. Is there something I should be concerned about there, Adam?
Say hi to your mom for me.
I really hope my mom's still listening.
Div by Zero on YouTube chat says, "Hey guys, thanks for a great show, but I gotta run. East Coast LGB." Thanks for listening, Div by Zero. I was gonna say sir, but it could be a madam. I assume sir. Is that sexist? Probably. Well, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest here. What, 90% of our audience is probably male?
Yeah, if our analytics are correct, the vast majority of our audience, like 85% plus, is male. So that was a good guess on my part.
But if there's any ladies,
ooh, it's a lady.
Ooh, it's.
I think that Jimmy Anderson might be the only lady in the group, right?
Jimmy Anderson says, "Hey, Mrs. Ponder."
I thought I saw Jimmy Anderson kind of tucking it in there during the trivia. So with his hair.
I was going to say, what the hell are you talking about, boy?
I was going with never mind. Bad joke.
So before, obviously we're closing up here, folks. It's been a fun show. I appreciate everybody participating. As the season goes along, remember that we are back every week. I would say during the season, 99% of our shows are live, but in the off chance that doesn't happen, remember there's always a show every week. But I just want to ask you guys going into this, and obviously next week we'll have another show. I don't know. We haven't discussed if it's going to be before or after the first game of the season, but what do you guys think of this lineup? You pretty excited?
Talking to me or the audience?
Talking about the you.
Yeah. I am. I touched on a little bit of that when I was talking about the lineup. I thought that our roster right now without Tarasenko is a cup contending roster. So, and I think it's even better when you plug in Blais for Sanford, and when Tarasenko comes back. So, assuming he can play, at close to the level he was. A lot of people don't think he will, but he says he's out to prove people wrong. So we'll see. Hopefully he can get close to I don't expect 40 goals out of him in a regular season, but if he can put up 25 goals, I think that'd be solid for him for contribution wise with his shoulder. I like this roster. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. After the letdown in the bubble, I think they made some really good moves. Of course, you never want to lose your captain, especially the guy that brought you, the captain that brought you the first cup. But I mean, the way that this team's made up, it's got all the elements. As long as it comes together, there's good chemistry and good luck. We don't get a COVID outbreak or two on the team or some shit injuries. Yeah. I think this team's going to be extremely competitive.
Do you guys think this roster could look any better after the departure of Pietrangelo? Like, could they have done anything else to make this roster better than it is right now?
No.
So they've done. Yeah, I think that way too. I think that they've done the best job they possibly can, within reason. Of
a top left-handed defenseman, knowing probably going to lose your captain was a brilliant move. And again, this is coming from a panel of guys who have said before the cup run that Doug Armstrong should be let go. It's done. You're done. You're clearly bringing this team in the right direction.
I never said that.
Well, guess what? Whatever.
I didn't.
He has completely turned this around, and he's made every right move since that season when he met. We bitched and complained about him not firing Yo sooner. Who's to say if they would have won the cup that year? So clearly, every move he's made since then has been the right move to me. So I don't think there's anything else he could have done differently to make this roster even better.
I think it's a best case scenario as far as after Pietrangelo left. You could even argue the roster. Healthy after Tarasenko comes back. You could argue it's a better roster. In a way. So I don't know. That remains to be seen. It depends how Krug plays. Depends if Falk improves. Depends how much Thomas improves another year in the league. Some of the younger players that statement probably relies more on some players getting better with another year of improvement too, which Thomas is like leading the pack there. So, and Falk too, having a rebound season would be nice. It'd be huge actually. So,
yeah. If Falk is as effective as he was in the bubble when he stepped up and drove a lot of the play, I think this is going to be great. I think he's the one possible asterisk to Jeff's comment about all of the moves that Armstrong's made being great. It could very well turn out to be a stroke of genius, that you have the depth on the right side of defense that you're okay letting your captain walk, and then if Falk comes through with a great season, we'll never say Pietrangelo who, but it definitely is going to lessen the blow. I don't know. I think that we're, like I said before, I think we're in great shape to be very competitive in this year. And I don't think the season's going to be so short that you're going to be making, arguments about, well, it's an asterisk season because it's not a full season. We're still talking 50 plus games.
Yeah,
that is a solid season. It's better than some seasons.
It's a lockout season. Lockout shortened in the past, same number. So it's been done before. I think it's fine. It should make for. Playoffs. Players shouldn't be as worn down. You should see slightly fresher players, maybe. So there's that. We'll see. Depends. Although the schedule is a bit more compact too, so there's that. That might wrap it up. I know, Jeff, you mentioned possibly in the Tuesday show, but the Wednesday game is at 9:30. We could do a pregame too. So
it's up to you guys.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. So either a Tuesday show or a Wednesday pregame, one of those two next week.
I think you can slate that in your schedule, folks, that if you're watching live, Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll have a show, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming products. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with code LGB. Your balls will thank you. That will wrap up episode 17 of season 9 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Have a safe and happy new year, everyone. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Dam, Curt Price. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. A look at sport. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news?